Alright, we're on lesson 24. Our objective says I will be able to solve decimal equations using inverse operations and the inverse order of operations. So yesterday we talked about the inverse order of operations. We're basically using the same thing, only this time we are including decimals. So what I've got to do here, this says solving by multiplying by a power of 10, but we are not going to worry about that. We're just going to solve like we've known how to do. I'm using my inverse order of operations, AMEG. Okay? I'm first getting rid of addition and subtraction, then I move to multiplication and division. I see I've got addition and I've got multiplication. I first need to get rid of addition. To get rid of a positive 8 right here, let's subtract 8 on each side. Drop down that 0 and 5/10 x. I've got 10.5 minus 8, which is going to give me, let's subtract it out. That would give me 5, 2.5. So I've got 0 and 5/10 is equal to 2.5. 2.5, excuse me, I need to divide each side by 1/2, or 0 and 5/10. Now, what I need to do now is divide this decimal out. I've got 0 and 5/10 into 2.5. We talked about dividing decimals before. You shift your decimal one to the right, shift it one to the right here. Bring my decimal up. Now I just need to ask myself, how many times will 5 go into 25? It'll go in there 5 times. 5 times 5 equals 25. My answer should be x equals 5. So basically we're following the same steps as we did yesterday, following the exact same steps. All I've got different in this is I have decimals, when yesterday I did not have decimals. So I do the same thing right here. I identify my two operations. I've got multiplication, I've got addition. I've got to figure out which one I get rid of first. Use my inverse order of operations, AMEG. Subtract, I've got, again, multiplication, addition. I've got to get rid of addition first because I'm working backwards. So subtract 0 and 8/10. Subtract 0 and 8/10. Gives me 0 and 2/10 is equal to 1 and 8/10 minus 8/10 is just 1. I forgot my m there. That's 0 and 2/10 m. Now I want to divide each side by 0 and 2/10. 1 divided by 0 and 2/10. I want to divide 0 and 2/10 into this 1. Okay, again, we talked about this before. Just did this. Shift your decimal once here, once here. How many times will 2 go into 10? Should go in 5 times. 5 times 2 is 10. Again, my answer is 5. Every answer will not be 5, but these first two were 5. So I'm just using the same order. First getting rid of addition, subtraction, then multiplication, division. Then I would move to get rid of any exponents, just working backwards. We'll do, let's do just one more of these. I've got negative 0 and 3/100 minus 1 and 2/10 equals 1 and 44/100. So I'm doing the same sort of thing. Alright, I've got multiplication and subtraction. The first thing I want to get rid of is subtraction by using addition. Add 1 and 2/10. I drop down that negative 0 and 3/10 in. And now I've got same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. Those signs are different, so I'm going to subtract 1 and 44/100 minus 1 and 2/10, which gives me 4, 2. 1 minus 1, 0. Same signs add and keep, different signs subtract. I want to take the sign of the higher number. Negative 1 and 44/100 is larger than 1 and 2/10, so that's a negative 0 and 24/100. Okay? Now I divide each side by a negative 3/100. Those cancel. That gives me n is equal to, I got a negative divided by a negative. I know my answer is going to be a positive, but let's divide this out. 3/100 into 0 and 24/100. I've got to shift my decimal here 2 places, so I can turn that into a whole number. So I shift my decimal here 2 places. Decimal goes up top.